Good evening, friends. It is time to read Chapter 4 of The Mighty Miss Malone, titled Stabbed in the Back. Mrs. Needham returns our work by calling each student to her desk in the reverse order of how good you did. Ooh, are you glad that I don't do that? Getting called last is the best. Dolly Peaches, who is a roughneck, a hoodlum, and a boy, even with a name like that, has been called first every single time this year. Poor guy. I have been called last for every paper and test all of 6th grade. It's like what we say on the playground. First is the worst, second is the best, last is the best in any old game. I don't think that's how that goes. Mrs. Needham picked up our final essays. I enjoyed learning about your families. We had a slight change in our usual rankings today. I don't like that. Mr. Peaches, keep trying. Hope springs eternal. Dolly slouched up to her desk. It was a very short walk because Mrs. Needham keeps Dolly Peaches and Benny Cobb exactly 1 yardstick and 1 stretched out arm away from her. She said, "Young man, stand straight and pick up your feet when you walk, or I will leave you with a memory that will extend well into summer." Now remember, this is school quite a few decades ago. School and discipline looked a lot different then than it does now. Benny Cobb was next, and the roll call went on until it was down to me and my loving friend Clarice Ann Johnson. We looked across the room at each other and smiled. We each held up 2 fingers and touched our cheeks, then held up 1 finger and put our hands to our chests, like we were getting ready to say the Pledge of Allegiance. But we weren't. It's secret sign language for our motto. I thought up, 2 girls, 1 heart. Mrs. Needham said, "As usual, we're left with the ladies." I tried to look as humble as possible while I waited for Clarice to walk up and get 2nd place, which is really just about as good as 1st place. Just about. Well, not really, but that is a kind and comforting thing to say to 2nd place people. Then I remembered what Mrs. Needham said about a change. No, I had worked extra hard on this essay. I watched her mouth, scared that something horrible was about to cross her lips, and then she said, and with an A-, I fought the feeling that my whole world was about to collapse in a smoking heap. "Another excellent piece of work by..." I prayed, "Oh, please say Clarice, please. She's used to 2nd place. Miss Deza Malone." The shame. I looked back over at Clarice and had to quickly turn my eyes away. It was bad enough that I hadn't gotten my usual grade, but it was even worse to see the crazy look on my loving friend's face when she knew that it was her, not me, who did best on the last assignment of the year. Clarice's mouth and eyes were wide open. She was being eaten alive by guilt already. Do you think Clarice should feel guilty? Give me 1 second. Stella! Stop! Sorry about that. It's like they know when I'm reading to you. They just go extra crazy. Do you think that that's a very good friend, a way to act to your very best friend? Make your friend feel guilty for doing a good job on something she worked hard on? It makes me kind of sad, but we all feel like that sometimes, I guess. I knew just how bad things got when my 2nd brain started talking to me. I'm different than most people, and one of the main reasons is I think I might have 2 brains. Whenever I get nervous or mad or scared or very upset, I have thoughts that are so different from my normal thoughts that there isn't any way they could be coming from just 1 brain. My 1st brain decides it doesn't want to know about what is happening and stops working. Then my 2nd brain takes over, and that brain is always looking to start trouble, to hurt someone or break something. Ooh. We're learning something new about Deza. I felt myself rise out of my seat like a prisoner, on her way to old Sparky, the electric chair. I had to bravely make that long walk to Mrs. Needham's desk, a walk once bright with sunshine and hope, but now chalked with thunder, despair, and crabgrass. Buck up, kiddo, the second brain said. She won't be expecting a thing. Oh, one of the main reasons I hate the second brain is that she always calls me kiddo. Smile, kiddo, the bad brain said. Get as close as we can. Clarice had covered her mouth with both hands. It was easy to see that she was grief-struck that something this terrible could happen on the next to last day of school. Okay, kiddo. When she hands the paper to you, snatch your arm. We'll get 2 or 3 bites in before she can slap us off or call for help. I stopped in front of Mrs. Needham's desk. I held my breath, giving her one last chance to say, Dear me, Miss Malone, I'm so sorry. I've made a terrible mistake. I should have called Clarice. Mrs. Needham looked me right in the eyes, held my essay out, and said, Very good job, Deza. Thank goodness that woke my first brain up. It stopped me before anyone got bit. Very good job? Was she playing a joke on me? I thought at what was written on in red on the top of my paper. There was a big A- sitting there. My grade is supposed to be an A+. How can Mrs. Needham, who I used to love like a grandmother, be so rude and so uncaring to tell me very good job when I didn't even get an A? I floated back toward my seat. Most times I pretend I'm reading the back of the last page of my essay while I'm walking to my desk. That way my classmates get a chance to see my grade and maybe will want to try harder next time. This paper was a crinkled ball in my fist. Dolly Peaches, who's got enough teeth cramped into his mouth for a crocodile, a shark, and 2 regular full-grown people, whispered, You ain't smart as you think, huh? How's it feel to be number 2? Benny Cobb snickled. Des is number 2. Okay, kiddo, jump real high, and drop a quick elbow into Dolly's left eye. Then do a sharp uppercut to Benny's jaw. They'll never see it coming. All there was left for me to do was quietly and with a bunch of dignity walk to my desk. I told myself, Stop being silly, keep your chin up. But as soon as I sat down, my arms folded on my desk and my head sunk down. Mrs. Needham said, And we closed this year with another A from Miss Clarice Ann Johnson. I couldn't bear to look. Clarice would be unconsolable. I raised my head when I heard Clarice's gut-wrenching yips and yaps. I'm so proud of that girl. Clarice had decided to pretend like she was excited by jumping up and down. She hopped like a bunny to the front and gave our traitor teacher a big, huge hug. Clarice is such a champion. She was making sure her classmates took their mocking eyes off of me and put them on her by waving her paper in the air and braying like a donkey. I loved her even more than I already did. The way that Deza's seeing things, is that reality? Is that what's really happening? Deza seems a little self-centered. She seems to be thinking of just herself right now, isn't she? Well, kiddo, I clenched my teeth so hard that the back ones started hurting. That's the only way to make that second brain quit talking. When it shut up, I laid my head back down on my desk. I'll probably be pondering what went wrong until I'm weak and weary. Is an A- really a bad grade, friends? No. Should she be proud of her work? She's being very hard on herself, isn't she? Nobody is 100% perfect. The next chapter, which we will read after spring break, because tomorrow we will go over chapters 1 through 4 reading comprehension questions. And then next week we have spring break. And I'm not going to post any videos so that I and you can be mindful of spending time doing things with our family and not feeling like we have to check in for any videos during that week. Okay? All right, so chapter 4 quiz. Question number 1, when do students in Mrs. Needham's class want their papers returned to them? Do they want them to be returned to them first, in the middle, or last? Remember how Mrs. Needham returns papers, okay? Which one do the students want to have returned to them? Whose essay got returned first? Dolly Peaches, Deza, Clarice, or Benny Cobb? Number 3, what does the hand gesture Clarice and Deza exchange mean? Best friends forever? We're number 1. 2 girls, 1 heart. Only one can win. What grade did Deza receive on her essay? An A, a B, or an A-. The last 3 questions today are extended responses. Remember capitals, remember periods, remember to have organized thoughts, and to make sure your sentence makes sense. Why was Clarice feeling guilty? This one's going to take a lot of deep thinking and using of context clues to figure out. So why was she feeling guilty? Number 6, why does Deza say that she has 2 brains? What does the first brain make Deza think, and what does the second brain make her think? Interesting question. Do you ever feel like that sometimes? Like you have a good brain and you have a bad brain? Makes you think thoughts you wouldn't normally think? Number 7, what does Deza's second brain call her? Remember, she doesn't like this name. All right, and I will go ahead and I will upload these onto OneDrive so that you guys can have your own copy to see at home. I am looking forward to our Zoom conference call tomorrow. Make sure that you check GroupMe and your email for the information about that Zoom video call. It is going to be pretty neat because if you do have a camera on your phone or computer, whatever you're using, that means that your classmates and myself will be able to see you and hear you, and you will be able to see and hear them. So it'll be pretty cool. It'll be like a little class reunion. And then tomorrow evening I will post the video of me reviewing the comprehension questions for the week. And Mr. Keller said that he wanted to record, remember Mr. Keller's a scientist, he wanted to record a video showing you some science about germs. So we will see if he gets to that in time before spring break. All right? I've got to take care of Rosie and Stella because they are being absolutely crazy. I hope you have a great night, and I will see you, hopefully actually see you tomorrow. Bye!